And again, for a Monday night, everybody joining on Twitch should be starting up right now. And very much on the dry side, we have really little to talk about for this evening immediately. We do have a minor storm system coming through as we go into the rest of the evening, just clouds expected there. And we do have also the possibility of some rain later on this weekend, or at least toward the weekend anyway. We're going to be seeing some up and down temperatures, but if everything works in the next about week or so, we're going to be finishing off February in a very warm manner if everything holds to forecast potential here. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a little bit. Welcome to Weather Overtime. This is Monday night. It is February the 19th, starting a new week off. And once again, thanks to everybody for joining on Facebook or Twitch. Once we get this webcam issue resolved, we should be able to go live on YouTube. We'll see what happens with that coming up as soon as we possibly can. But in the meantime, thanks to everybody for joining us on Facebook and Twitch for everything happening. If you got questions, if you're just tuning in for the first time, again, for Twitch TV, this is not exactly your most exciting fireworks, dancing, singing type show. We talk about weather, we talk about what's going on in especially the southeast United States. We are live and direct, News 12 from Chattanooga, Tennessee, USA. Southeastern corner of Tennessee, basically just above the Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia tri-state line area. And we also cover a small part of western North Carolina. We'll talk about a very nice sunset picture that we had from a viewer today where you can send your pictures in. Coming up, we'll also talk a little bit more about what it is that you can get involved with when it comes to things like how to help scientists. And we're going to talk a lot more about what they are talking about and how you can help with, again, that data out there. That's called citizen science. If you've never participated in anything like that, the Great American Bird Count just finished up. That is something to really take a look at, but we'll talk more about the subject of what it means to be cool, as in cool temperatures. Can you have a thing such as a cool star? A lot of other stuff like that. That's some very interesting stuff coming up here in just a little bit, so stay tuned for more on that. Let's go ahead and get started for this evening and see what we've got to show you out there. We got really quiet conditions for the time being. We've got Island Cove Marina and Resort from up around Lake Chickamauga, that is north and east of the News 12 Chattanooga area. Beautiful sunset for tonight. Hopefully you're able to go out and take a look around up there. Flock of birds flying overhead. You can see that. And the sky shine off into the distance, very much on the fairly clear side for right now. Matter of fact, no clouds whatsoever except for what's off on the horizon. We'll be looking for more clouds overnight. Clear and dry. Bailey's Heating and Air camera from the downtown area. Spectacular sunset from earlier this evening. Posted that to my social media pages as well. Lee Point, traffic a bit on the heavy side from the Plainview Outdoor Advertising camera. Looking again at some dry conditions for this evening, so not much going on there. Should have turned this camera around earlier, but you can see the lights of the top, the crest of Lookout Mountain off there in the distance from the Patriot Concrete camera on top the News 12 studios, the lights of Broad Street, and hopefully that 7-Eleven across the street opens at some point in time, because I could really use a place where I could walk across the street and grab a nice slush. That would be kind of cool to have there. Traffic at this time from 2475 moving along nicely. It was pretty well jammed up at rush hour. Tomahawk crane and rigging camera, the lights of Signal Mountain visible way off in the distance, something you don't often see in that area. Chattanooga Zoo camera, also a great sunset. All of these cameras, Signal Mountain out that direction. EPB Fiber Optics Weathercam Network. You can see all of these at our website, WDEF.com. On the EPB Fiber Optics Weathercam Network, so please give that a check out. And let's go to the Chattanooga Theater Center, downtown, Coolidge Park, Tennessee River, downtown over there, North Shore over here, and the Tennessee River flowing along quite nicely, pretty much like glass tonight. Not much of anything showing up in the way of any wind. Matter of fact, calm at the airport without any wind around or any clouds to keep the temperatures up a little bit. The numbers are sinking pretty quickly, and without the cloud cover to keep the heat of the day in down toward the surface, those clouds just let the heat of the day just radiate upwards, and that means our temperatures drop off pretty quickly. So we're back in the lower 40s already, probably in the 30s later on, I would guess, but not seeing that at this time, at least for right now. So a good night for stargazing. Looking down at the Chattanooga Police Department, keeping an eye on Coolidge Park. Nice to see they're out and available for the area there. Traffic pretty light. TDOT Smartway camera from I-24 and McBrien between the Ridge and the 2475 junction we just showed you on the Tomahawk crane and rigging camera. Everything moving along quite nicely there. The big construction zone, not a lot of construction going on in view at this point, but keeping an eye on traffic nonetheless. And from downtown, Tennessee Highway 27 at Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, again, decently quiet, very much on the dry side, and should be staying that way. Tomorrow, we'll have some clouds in the morning, but that should really do it for the potential of anything involving rainfall coming up. It's going to be very much on the dry side, not even that windy tomorrow, so we'll start off with clouds and we'll go back to sunshine as this latest storm system rolls on through. Likewise, if you are doing anything out and about for catching 9 or 18 holes or some practice driving range, not that much to worry about. And temperatures just a little bit above normal at this time of the year. Clouds sticking around for the morning hours, but beyond that, really not that much happening. Temperatures right before 10 o'clock, we were back in the 30s, lower 30s around Andrews in North Carolina, looking toward the upper 30s to lower 40s elsewhere across the region, and not doing too bad otherwise. Could be a lot colder. Again, we've seen some pretty chilly temperatures over the last couple of weeks, and if everything works, the numbers in the next couple of days, mild, dropping off a bit, and then a big warm-up coming our direction into the next few days. SATRAD showing, again, a few clouds coming in from our west, but beyond that, way back over this direction, seeing some of those clouds over Huntsville and back into Middle Tennessee, that continuing on our direction here. Going out a little farther, there's nothing in the way of rainfall to show. This system that's coming through is basically surrounded by dry air. So where this system is in southeast Missouri, Rolla back toward Cape Girardeau, Poplar Bluff, Koshkonong, if you've ever been there, one of the most fun towns to pronounce, right on the Arkansas-Missouri state line up around Mammoth Springs, and parts of northeast Arkansas right around Mammoth Springs, back down toward Thayer, Arkansas in that area. That, again, good antique shopping there. That's the rain that we've got, and that's it. We're not going to see any of that into later on tonight. So what exactly are we looking for? This system right here, this dashed line that you see, that's a stretched out area of low pressure. It's called a trough, T-R-O-F. And what that is just basically, it can be a washed out front. It can just be a disturbance rolling its way through the atmosphere. It's not as strong as a cold front or a warm front. It's just a boundary, but it can, in the right conditions, these things can set off severe weather if the conditions are right. In this case, with no moisture on either side of this, there's nothing going on, and I doubt we're really going to be able to see too much of anything. We are watching for the next system coming on through, and that is currently plaguing the West Coast with another atmospheric river going on through. And that is where we see, again, our next weather maker going across the continent and heading our way. Evan Carter on Facebook. Hello from West Tennessee. Hello back from Southeast Tennessee. Thanks for joining us from my former stomping grounds over there. Thank you very much for joining the show, and everybody on Twitch TV as well. Now, what's going on out here? This has been interesting to watch. Another month, another atmospheric river, and this has been another one to be pummeling the West Coast. This area of low pressure has the lower surface pressure is very close to being onshore here, as you just saw rolling on through here. This is the surface area over here, the upper atmospheric higher up, helping to drive this system. That is still off the coast, and that is doing a magnificent job of sending tons of moisture onshore and continuing that through the next couple of days. So we will be seeing that potential of rain here. San Diego to Seattle, higher elevation snow and wind. The ski resorts should love this. This may be the last burst of winter they get, depending on what goes on in the rest of the season. This should be great for fire season. This should be great for filling up the reservoirs. Very good news on that. Expected to be a dry summer, depending on how things go. We'll watch that. But this system is once again pummeling the West Coast states with tons of moisture going on. We are going to continue to see this dump all this moisture onshore into the next couple of days. Anything from, say, Denver, Salt Lake City, Seattle, Portland, Las Vegas, more chances of rain. Looks like Vegas is going to get another good soaking into the next about 24 to 48 hours. But what we're also going to be looking for is that area of low pressure to continue to throw that moisture here as that first part of that storm system gets a little bit closer to us. Now, as that happens, we should not see much of anything going on at first. We may see, again, the potential of some of these clouds into the area coming up for tomorrow morning. Then we should be able to go back to sunny skies, mostly sunny skies, toward about the afternoon and evening. By the time we hit Wednesday morning, mostly clear, and then a few more clouds coming through by Wednesday afternoon. High pressure way down here, swirling around and keeping things dry and cutting off the Gulf of Mexico from sending any moisture our way. Most of this moisture is going to come off the West Coast and that atmospheric river, throwing it over the mountains and the desert. So it's not going to be quite as populous as it would be if the Gulf were able to send a bunch of moisture up our way. Then that system gets closer to us, gets out of the Rockies, gets into the Plain States, has a lot more room to maneuver, and that is where our chances of rain really start to kick in as we go toward Thursday afternoon. By Thursday night, News 12 at 11, could be a rumble of thunder in here someplace. We're still not seeing anything from the Storm Prediction Center that says anything about severe weather. So that in itself is good news, but we are at the prime time for severe weather around this area of the country, where we are again right around Chattanooga. This is where February, late January, February through about early April, this is the time that we really need to watch these systems coming on through, because they could really stir up a lot of problems, again, if conditions are correct. It was correct enough, very strong weather going on out into California. We're north of Sacramento today, where you don't often see tornadoes. There were tornado warnings from this storm going on through. So really incredible to be able to see that. Now, by the time we get into Friday morning, most of the rain should be over with. Excuse me, but as this system clears the area, that becomes a very deep area of low pressure. So a lot of air swirling around this system, trying to fill up that gap in the atmosphere, which means behind this, Thursday night to Friday morning, we could see some mountain wave winds, mainly at the higher elevation, but some of that could translate down into and around the lower Tennessee Valley area. Excuse me. So I would not be surprised to see some windy conditions coming up toward the end of the week. That is where we really could see some choppy conditions out there. Again, Thursday into Friday, hopefully calming down by the weekend, but that also is where we could see the worst problems out there. Let's go ahead and give you what we're looking for the 7-day forecast. Again, taking the Island Cove Marina and Resort camera from Lake Chickamauga. Seeing the possibility, again, showers, maybe a thunderstorm Thursday into Friday, and then after that, some windy conditions may set in, but a little bit cooler from where we are now. Again, lower to mid-60s, lower 60s into the area close to the weekend itself, so diving a little bit on the numbers, but still well above normal. And then if everything works, by next week, early part of the last week of February, last few days, there's every indication normal for this time of the year. High temperatures is about the lower 50s. We're going to be some 20 degrees if everything holds, 20 degrees above our normal high temperature, depending on how that works. No real chance. It might be a chance of rain coming up as we go from February into March. But for right now, not really seeing, again, a lot of that activity going on. where it comes to that rainfall being severe or causing any flash flooding. Again, that's about 10 days out. So for right now, we really don't have much going on with that. But for right now, the way it's looking, and if I can find there we go, from the Climate Prediction Center, available through NOAA, NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, way above normal temperatures expected for the eastern half of the United States, from the Great Plains to the East Coast, Great Lakes down to almost the Texas Gulf Coast, way above normal temperatures as we go into the last week of the month. It's going to feel great. Does this mean winter is over with? I can already feel the questions being asked out there. No, we still have a lot of winter to go, and under the right conditions, we can get blizzard conditions if everything is right. Will that happen? No guarantee at this time. And again, way that far out, be very cautious. There's a site here around Chattanooga that is very bombastic with its predictions, very clickbaity type headlines, and about 300 hours out saying Category 6 blizzard, feet of snow. The models are going bonkers over these latest readings. Well, maybe they are that far out, but the closer you get, the more it comes into focus. So if anything is, if you go to a website and they're predicting feet of snow where you usually don't get snow, my wife likes to call those the MS Paint sparkly maps of doom. That is something that you really need to take with a grain of salt, because maybe the computer models are showing something that far out. As the time gets closer and everything comes into focus, it's a good possibility that it's not going to be as bad as what those clickbait headline websites are saying. Not calling anybody out specifically, but there are a number of them out there, and that is one of the things to really watch out for. It's interesting when they forecast, they take a look at these Category 6 blizzards, which is not a thing, by the way. They never come back on again and say, you remember that Category 6 blizzard I was talking about? Well, that's not going to happen. The closer we get, it doesn't look like it. They always do a good job of forgetting to correct themselves on that, and that right there is what I call foul on. That's not fair to you, the viewing public. That's really not fair of them to do stuff like that in general. So that right there, please consider where you're getting your information from. If we see signs of something happening 300 hours out, we might mention it here on News 12 just as a point of interest to say, hey, the models are picking this up. This could be interesting, but ellipsis here. That's something we really need to watch out for. So please avoid those clickbaity headlines, to be as careful as you possibly can on that. All right, let's have some fun here for a little bit. We've taken care of most of the weather situation at this time. Have to thank News 12 viewer Stephanie Farrell for a beautiful view of clouds and fog down in the valleys around Murphy, North Carolina. That's our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. And if you've got pictures, we would love to see what you're seeing out there and tell everybody about it. If you have them, send them. Drop them to the comments section of our social media pages, or just email them to us at pictures@wdef.com. Give us a description. You can be anonymous, but give us a description or a location, please. If we need to, we'll make up a name for you, a Nunny Mouse, if that works for you. But please send them in. We could use them, so go ahead and give us an idea as to what you're looking at out there, and yours could be the next Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, almanac page for the day, 59. Our high normal, now up to 57, so a little bit higher than what I was saying earlier. Last week, our high temperature, normal high, was about 53. Shows you the big changes we're getting taking place at this time of the year. 27 our low, that's about 10 degrees below our regular low temperature, and about 20 degrees cooler than our record high last set back in 1939. No precipitation, behind for the month, and ahead by a fraction of the month for the year. That is very good news, because we don't want to go through what we did last year, about 8-9 inches behind normal, a very dry 2023 out across much of the area. This is interesting to take a look at, because This doesn't happen that often. Yes, it's February. Yes, we're talking about the tropics. No, it is not local. It is way on down into around portions of southeastern Brazil. This is South America, Pacific over here, Atlantic over here, Tierra del Fuego, and the roaring 40s down this direction. This is Tropical Storm Akara. It formed under some very interesting conditions to where a cold front coming up from the south. Remember, this is the southern hemisphere, so cold air goes north instead of going south. A cold front merged with an area of low pressure right as all this moved off the coast and did a very good job of deepening very quickly and became a very strong area of low pressure. This is not a threat to land. It's not going anywhere. You don't hear about storms like this. Number one, it's February. So for anything like this to form in the first place, it's like the keys in the tumbler of a lock rotating at the same time to unlock the door. A lot of conditions have to come together to get something like this to happen. Number two, the wind shear at this point off this area of the coast is typically terrible. You can get some very breezy winds from one direction, lower on, and higher up, winds coming in from different direction. That wind shear is great for developing thunderstorms that produce tornadoes in around North America and other parts of the world. It is terrible for tropical systems. With that shear, those storms can basically just flop. They don't go anywhere. And over the next several days, what we're expecting is for this system, and I'm sorry the circle doesn't move, you got to kind of follow the cloud path here as it goes off toward the southeast. As it moves off into the south central Atlantic, there's not going to be much left of this system, and doesn't look like anything developing after it. So interesting to see at this time of the year if this was a climate change solution type situation where we're getting more storms and powerful storms in the not typically tropical storm season. That would be interesting, but so far I've heard no indication about that, but that's definitely something to take a look at. The Great Backyard Bird Count is still going on. Technically, it's still February 19th, but if you did data on this, if you collected data, please turn it in to birdcount.org, the National Audubon Society. Your data here, working under citizen science, can help environmental scientists, can help biologists, can help anybody monitoring bird populations around the area. It's a good, if you notice, a lot of talk about the bees lately, that if the bee population crashes, we are in trouble on this planet. So birds can be a bellwether, a harbinger of what might be coming our way. So keeping track of what is going on with the birds, that can be something that can come in handy. But if there's no data, we can't tell what's happening. That's where you come in on things like this for citizen science. Those of you who are going to email me regarding how many birds are killed by those windmills that cause windmill cancer, tell you what, compare those numbers to how many birds are killed by nuclear facilities, fossil fuel plants, cats. Don't even try with the windmill thing with me. That's not even going to work, and I don't care for it, and I'm not even going to respond to anything on that except with great amounts of sarcasm. This is a great way for you to help out on this. There's other things you can do involving citizen science. Excuse me, and this is going to be rather interesting. This is going to be coming up in the next couple of days. This is from SCI Starter, and you can watch them on Instagram and many other pages. I've got this all over my social media pages, and I'm on numerous locations out there. What this is going to be, and I have to read off my phone for this, for everything, it's exploring what it means to be cold. Data kept and by scientists who study about temperatures, about the way lack of heat performs on here. So what cold means on Earth and in space, it just sometimes means the relative and the coldest objects in space, which are vital for teaching us about how stars and planets form. This is going to be a conversation that will help you connect with scientists and contribute to real science that needs your help. This is coming up February 21st, that's Wednesday, I believe, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, for What Does It Mean to Be Cool? Helping NASA and other scientists learn about this. There's going to be several ways for you to do stuff. There's going to be a number of different ways to be able to participate in this, different seminars, different ways of being able to collect data. This is coming up, and again, this is how you come in when it comes to data. You don't have to have a PhD to do citizen science. All you have to have sometimes is a pencil, a pad, or a tablet, or a computer, or even just a smartphone. That's all it takes. And your information could help a lot of people do a lot of great science. So if you'd like to help out on this, this will be posted around. Join the scientists February 21st. I'll mention more about this in the next couple of days so you can find out more, and tons of great information available on this and other places to go to on SciStarter. This is a good opportunity to learn again about how you can do numbers of different types of surveys. It's really, really cool to take a look at. No real big pun intended, but still. Again, this is your opportunity to participate in stuff like this, so please consider doing this. That would be a really, really cool thing to get involved with. Great for kids to take a look at. There's a lot of things they can do even before they turn the age of 10, being able to count stars or meteors or a lot of other stuff. So SciStarter, that would be a great place to start for information about how you can do a lot of cool things about science. So please consider signing up for that. Would really love to find out more about that. Again, coming up for citizen science, a great way to practice citizen science, being a Skywarn spotter. Marion County, Tennessee, just about a month from now, Thursday, March 21st, 6 p.m., Lawson Building, Jasper, Tennessee. That is west of Chattanooga by about a county and into Central Time here. We cover Central and Eastern Time, so 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Your opportunity in Marion County to become a Skywarn spotter. Please consider signing up, weather.gov. It's free, weather.gov/MRX. Register for a seat at the National Weather Service in Morristown, which covers that particular area of southeastern Tennessee. And remember, if you can't join a meeting in person, join online. Become a Skywarn spotter online. Again, citizen science. Very cool to take a look at. METED, the meteorological education site of the University Corporation for Atmospheric Research, meted.ucar.edu. And you can take the course online, then join as a Skywarn spotter with your local National Weather Service office. Your way of being able to help protect the community when it comes to severe weather. This is a great opportunity to learn more. More citizen science. We got a lot going on in February. University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, Clarence T. Jones Observatory, their next star party this next weekend, Sunday, February 25th. Gates open at 5:30. Constellation, and the lecture is going to be on Orion the Hunter. Again, that's at 10 North Tuxedo Avenue this coming Sunday. Gates open at 5:30. If the sky is clear, telescope viewing until 8. Facebook.com/UTC Jones Observatory. Some great local astronomy here to really take a look at. And also, and I got to throw this in, I don't know if they're wrapping this up or not. Hopefully you get more information on this. The 50th anniversary, hard to believe it's been this long, 50th anniversary of one of the worst severe weather outbreaks that this country has ever experienced in modern times. 1974 super outbreak of April 3rd and 4th. If you remember what it was like then, if you have photos, if you have video, recordings, debris that was saved over for things like that, contact Jeremy Buckles at the National Weather Service in Morristown. They're putting together a story map presentation. These are really cool, packaged up little pieces of weather history. They did a great one on the superstorm of 1993. The 30th anniversary of that was just last year, believe it or not. But this was an incredibly intense amount of severe weather. So something really to take a look at there. That is something, again, you can help out with to preserve weather history. So if you'd like to participate in that, jeremy.buckles@noaa.gov for more information on that. I know. Okay, one more thing here. I know we got a lot to talk about, but this is really important. If you'd like to be involved in emergency communications but don't know how, I am an amateur radio operator. I have been since 2000, February of 2000. So this is my 24th anniversary of being an amateur radio operator. This weekend at the North Georgia Fairgrounds in Dalton, that's just to the southeast of Chattanooga, the Dalton Amateur Radio Club will be holding their, quote, first and best ham fest in Georgia. A ham fest is where everybody gets together and swaps equipment, sells equipment, safety gear. It also offers testing for your amateur radio license. There is a cost, but it's a minimal one for a great hobby to get your license from the FCC and get on the air. That's a good hashtag to follow. If you'd like more information about this, go to their website at qrz.com/db/W4DRC. Whiskey 4 Delta Romeo Charlie, International Phonetic Alphabet. That's also handy to know. You don't have to know Morse code anymore to be an amateur radio operator, to the chagrin of many long-time amateur radio operators. But if you don't want to have to learn that, you don't have to. It's a really cool hobby and a really cool, neat thing to have just in case you need it sometime. But if you'd like to participate in this weekend, there's a cost to enter, but you get to participate in a door prize drawing with that cost. And again, that's this Saturday, February 24th. Starts at 8 o'clock, goes until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Dalton Amateur Radio Club, thank you very much for holding this ham fest, and get the word out if you can. This is not just a silly catchphrase. A lot of people say amateur radio is dying. It is not. It's still a very healthy, very much alive hobby, and this really strikes a chord. When all else fails, amateur radio works. There may be a time, and a lot of people I've heard laugh at this before. People I've heard tell me before, if we have a big tornado or there's, God forbid, another terrorist attack, I'm just going to pick up the phone and order a pizza. You may not be able to do that. If you have a big enough hurricane like Katrina or a bad enough one like Andrew, and your loved ones are in the path of that storm and there's no contact because there's no power, no word going in or out except for official communications, you may not hear from them for a couple of weeks, depending on how things go. Amateur radio operators can help. I believe it's health and welfare messages can be sent, minimal, very short phrase messages, but they can get the message out to help people get in contact with their loved ones who might be in where all the bad stuff happened. Please consider this. It's a really great hobby. I can't recommend it enough. It's a great opportunity to get your kids involved in some really great, you learn about law, you learn about electrical safety, you learn about communication in general, international outreach, you learn about how to construct your own antennas. Some of the most amazing inventions I've seen are ham radio operators making antennas and cooling sinks out of things like paint cans and oil or out of shopping carts. Really incredible to take a look at, so please consider that. I need to get it up here, but you need to take a look at arrl.net to find out more about what is coming up in your general area right there. Mary Ashwill Moncrief, thank you very much. Nice to be missed in Olive Branch, Mississippi. And Angel Patterson Tetwan, one of my best friends from Topeka West High School, class of 86. Nice to see you on here. Thank you very much for dropping by. Good to see you on the show. Always great to see you around, and love your posts on Facebook. And thank you very much. Angel, one of my best friends, like I've said before, some really great people that I met at Topeka West High School, and she is one of them. So thank you very much, Ms. Angel, for stopping on by. It's always great to see you. Never be afraid to stop by and say hello, and always great to keep in contact. Again, thank you very much. Nice to see a fellow Topeka West Charger on here. I think that's going to do it. No posts on Twitch at this time, so good news there. I think that's pretty much it for right now. We covered a bunch of stuff for tonight, and wow, I didn't even realize we've been on the air for over half an hour, so nice to be able to see that. If you need any of this information, again, most of all this is posted to my social media pages. I'm on More Than This, so if you'd like to know more, please drop by and find out more at all my social media pages. I try to post everything to there. All right, one more thing, and that's it for tonight. But I do have to issue a retraction on here. Like an idiot, I'm like Garfield. I hate Mondays because getting back in the swing of things after Monday or on Monday is just not good for me. I get no pleasure at all in Mondays whatsoever. So for our vote question of the day, News 12's weather question of the day, nothing in the universe can be colder than absolute zero. Well, I put in 273 below zero and 459 below zero. At 7 o'clock, I mistakenly said 273 Fahrenheit was the correct answer. It was not. I apologize for that. 273 Celsius, yes. 459 degrees Fahrenheit, that is absolute zero. So that is right there the correct answer. So again, I apologize. I was chowder-headed tonight. I was not paying attention, getting that taken care of. So apologies on there. Hopefully I'll be able to pay more attention. I got flatlined this weekend. I don't know what's going around, but my wife and our adopted kid has done a very good job of picking up some sort of catastrophical virus. So this entire weekend I barely moved from the bed. So I'm just right now starting to get back into some frame of mind of doing things necessary out there. So apologies for that. That's your corrected WDEF News 12 weather poll of the day. I promise tomorrow I'll be more on my A game. At least I hope so. And I'm not touching coffee again for a very long time. All right, that's it. Got to get ready for News 12 at 11 coming up here in about 30 minutes Eastern time zone. If you'd like to watch on WDEF.com/weather, please tune in and watch myself, Andrew Harrison with the day's news, Rick Nyman with sports, our crack News 12 production department doing a great job behind the scenes. Some of the best people that I've ever worked with in production work right here. So thank you guys very much. Great place to be at News 12. So please make sure you tune in for more on that. And again, on Twitch, the email address at the lower portion of your screen, aonek@WDEF.com. Rick Bircher, welcome to the show from Topeka. Thank you very much. And Bishop Bob, formerly from down around Memphis, now into parts of Georgia. Welcome, Bishop Bob, and say hello to Mr. Josh for me as well. Thanks to everybody for showing up. It really means a lot to me that people are checking in on this. And go ahead and share this netcast, if you would be so kind, on your social media pages. Just forward it along, and the best way we can get the news out about what we do here is you. Likewise, if you have story ideas that we could tackle here, let us know at our website. We can't do this news business without you. 90% of our news comes from public submissions. So just like our weather picture of the day, we can't do that without you either. So please let us know if you see something going on. Get in touch with us through our website, WDEF.com/weather. I'm going to stop talking now because I'm pretty sure I probably put some people to sleep, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready for News 12 at 11. Chip Chapman has your forecast bright and early tomorrow morning. Stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and online, live and direct from downtown Chattanooga at WDEF News 12. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. Thanks for joining us for Monday night's weather overtime, and stay tuned for more again with News 12 throughout the rest of the week. We'll keep you advised. And remember, please, let's be careful out there.